Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 31st of July. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first we're going to discuss Donetsk city, this one. And to be more precise, we're going to discuss these things. This is a Python man, or its number like PFM1, and people are calling these mines a petal mine. It's a very dangerous weapon. This is a prohibited weapon, and this is the mines that the Ukrainians are using to mine this city, Donetsk, the capital of DPR, Donetsk People Republic. And this mine, because of the fact that this is very small mines, they are only 80 grams. So you can use just the distance method of mining using these mines and using the clusters. This is the cluster of this mine. This is a very small mine, 80 grams, just one. This mine can't kill you, but this mine can cut your leg or cut your hand. And it's very dangerous, and as I told you, this is a prohibited weapon. And during the previous night, the Ukrainians were shelling Donetsk, entire shelling with these cluster bombs, with these mines. It's a very dangerous weapon. And today we got a lot of video at night how the Russian tanks, how the Russian heavy armored vehicles were running all around the town, all around the parks, all around the places, trying to get those mines, because as I told you, this mine is only against the troops. But if we're talking Donetsk, in this case, this mine is against our pets and against people, because these mines damage mainly pets, because at least dogs, because they're running in the parks, on the streets, they find something interesting, they try to smell at these mines, and this mine explodes. And of course, if you're talking about pets, these mines kill pets. And people, of course, when people go to work, to a job, as you can see, according to this, there are two colors of these mines, the brown and green. Green one is very nice in the grass, because if you look at this mine, if you're not professional, if you're not professional military soldier, you won't see these mines ever. You won't be able to see them in the grass or on the ground, because they are very similar to the environment they are using in. So that's why the Russians, as I understand, they were forced to stop any offensive operation, because entire town was mined by these mines at night. So that's why they needed time to take as much forces as possible and to start the mining process of the town during this night, because in the morning there would be a lot of losses among civilians who were working in the streets and working to their jobs. Or this is a very big problem for the net, because I suppose that Ukrainians are going to do this distance mining now every day to stop the Russians and to fix them, and not to allow them to develop their offensive operation on the north of Donetsk. Now let's continue with Donetsk, with the offensive operation. As you can see, there are a lot of icons on the area between Avdiivka and Mariinka. This arc, this one. As you can see, there are a lot of icons in the town, in Donetsk. All these icons shows that Ukrainians are shelling this town, not just with the artillery, but also with this distant mining. And hundreds, thousands of mines were found during the previous 24 hours in this town. And I suppose this is not the all mines. And furthermore, today was a video how the women were walking through some park. She found such mine. She take this mine carefully and put this mine into her bag. Some military officer stopped her and asked her, "What did you do? Why did you take this mine? Because they're dangerous." And she told that I wanted to take this mine to show this mine on her job to people who's working with her. She's a crazy woman, but you understand now the danger of this mine. There are two types of this mine, by the way: the of press activation, when you move and you press this mine and it explodes, automatic explosion. So the Russians, they have also such mines, but they have some modification and they use automatic explosion. So we can say that The Russians first they mine some territory with their attack or doing something, and let's say in the next 24 hours these mines explosives because like automatically, and the Ukrainians are using just to press mines so they can stand on the ground for years, and it can detonate even in 5 years or something like this. Now let's talk about continue with the promotions and so on. Today we got three important updates in this area. The first one from the Ukrainian side that there is a lot of information that the forces who is located in Avdiivka, the Ukrainians start desertion process, because we understand, everybody understand that who stays in Avdiivka, and if Avdiivka is going to be encircled, those who stays in Avdiivka will stay there forever. Because I don't think that the Russians or DPR are going to save their lives or to get them in prison or some to judge them. Everybody will be killed because of this hell and nightmare that these forces are doing with Donetsk. So, and there is a very active phase of encirclement of Donetsk, of push. So that's why some Ukrainian forces start desertion, and mainly it's some defense brigade, not professional forces who just from the other regions like west of Ukraine who doesn't want to die. So that's why they are running, and there is some kind of icon of that showing that desertion. Also, we got another update in the area between Pesky and Krasnogorovka. And this map shows like an icon of promotion. If you remember, when this offensive operation started, we discussed that, of course, if the Russians want to achieve some success in this area between Krasnogorovka and between Pesky, of course, the main idea and their main goal is to take control over Nivoska, this town. And as you remember, we draw some map with like something like this, and I told you that with help of this Nivoska, the Russians will be able to fix these roads, to establish some fire control, and to cut Pesky from the big land. And after that, the Russians will be able to establish control over this town. So today we got the first information that the Russians are pushing towards Nivoska, and that they're fighting somewhere here in the area between Nivolska and this in the Donetsk, and that they're clearing these trenches. So I suppose that if the Russians are going to be successful, soon, maybe in a day or two, we're going to see how they're taking this town. So the Russians are acting according to our projection that for the main idea to take control over Nivolska and to establish control over Pesky in a few days or something like this. More updates are coming from Pesky. The Russians, of course, the forces from Pesky, their main job is to fix and to ruin the Russians' plans by attacking them in flank from Pesky toward the south. So that's why the Russians start shelling Pesky heavily, and you can see the icon on this area. And also they were pushing, and according to some information, the Russians managed to take some blocks from the east south parts. So I suppose that maybe the Russians were able to take control over these small blocks. I'm not saying that it might be some kind of speculation, but they were just to know that they managed to move a little bit and to establish some positions in the southeast part of Pesky. So I suppose that they were talking about this town, but their main idea during this phase of offensive operation towards Pesky is to fix the Ukrainians and not to allow them to ruin the Russians' plan to take control over Nivolska, this town. But because the Russians are moving there and they get some success in this area. Another important update are coming from Avdiivka, from this town. If we take a look at the Russian sources map, you're going to see that there is an icon that you see these trenches, this very fortified position of Ukrainians, this blue market. That means that this territory is under Ukrainians' control. You see these trenches. And today we got report that the Russians took control over this area, that they cleared this area and push Ukrainians from this area. So if we take a look at this map, this is the area we are talking about. So the Russians, during the previous 3 days of this offensive operation towards Avdiivka, managed just to clear the small fortified position. Yes, that's not much, of course. We understand that. It's nothing if we are talking about the progress of the Russians on the east side of Ukraine in this area. But believe me, this is so fortified position. So this small block can change the entire situation in the south of Ukraine. Because using these blocks, the Russians now are able, first of all, if we take a look at the west source map, you're going to see that this is the entire fortification position, defense position from on the south of Avdiivka. Let's mark it like this. So this one was the entire fortified area. And as you can see, the Russians managed to break this area right in the middle. And from this area now they are able to go to the west and to go to the east in two directions. I don't think that the Russians are planning to push to the north because there is a forest right in front of them, railroad right in front of them. So it's like death sentence for them. It's suicide operation. You see this one. So all this area is very fortified right in front of them. So, but they can move to the west. The main idea to move to the west to these positions, this one, on this map, the west source map, this is it. This is the position the Russians want to take control over. And after that, they will be able to move further to the west to attack Opatna from the back. This one, Opatna, and this fortification from the back. If they take this fortification, they will be able to attack every single fortification from the back, and this entire front line can collapse. And now let's see. So we see that the main idea of the Russians is to establish control over this triangle, this one, Pesky, Первомайская, Opatная, this one. So they need to take control over this triangle, and after that the entire front line is going to collapse, this one. So they want to take, and they are doing this from few directions. They're like attacking this triangle from two directions, from this town Nivoska, and from Opatna, I would say from the east side of triangle from another side. So they're trying to establish control and to push the Ukrainians from the north of Donetsk to clear this area, and after that we are going to see the operational encirclement of Avdiivka. So there are very heavy clashes there. So it's the bloodiest clashes on the entire Ukraine, and there will be more and more tragic story from this side as well. Now let's move to our Solidar, Bakhmut, and Seversk area. We got some updates from this area. If we are talking about the map of this position, the Russians were continue hunting this 72nd Mechanized Brigade. As you can see, they're trying to hunt just this brigade, because this brigade stands on the south of Ukraine, south of Artyomov, and the Russians attacked this brigade, and as a result of the rocket attack, this brigade has a lot of losses. This brigade lost around 50 soldiers and around 10 armored vehicles, so that's a lot for mechanized brigade, so they're continue hunting this brigade. Another important update is that the Russians attack Kraken. The special forces, their main base is in Kharkiv, but now they're fighting in Seversk, this one. These cracked their main position because they were moved here to reinforce the forces in Seversk to stop the Russians' progress in this area, but their rotation, their forces, and the rest are located in Kharkiv. So the Russians attacked these Kharkiv, and as a result of that attack, these special forces, lost around 350 soldiers. So I suppose that it's soon there should be a timing of rotation. So that's why the Russians changed their focus from the main forces to the reserves. They destroyed reserves, and now we understand that this Kraken doesn't have forces for rotation, or at least some forces for rotation. So it's not very good for the soldiers who's located on the zero line. Now the important update are coming from the Zumbush. It's not some kind of update. It's just the interesting information we got today. As you can see, the Russian marked this area, Novogusarovka, with their flag, with the Russian flag. This one. If you take a look at the west sources map, this town Novogusarovka is located. This one, Novogusarovka, under Ukrainian control. Shurovka, Gusarovka, Bayrak, these three towns. According to the west sources map, these three towns is under Ukrainians. This one. If we take a look at the Russian source map, there is the same picture, but today they marked this area with the Russian flag. If we take a look at the map of this position, there is the same picture. Shurovka, by the way, not. If you take a look at the west sources map of this position, this map showed that this town is under the Russian control. under Russian control. Why is that? Today we got a report from the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, their military report, and they announced that that the Ukrainians managed to stop Russian offensive operation in direction from Novogusarovka towards Gusarovka. So there were no updates about the fact that these towns were taken by the Russians. This icon says that these towns were taken by the Russians a very long time ago, even in March. So this is some kind of information that make this map more accurate, just showing the real picture. So the Russians have some positions on this side of Seversky Donetsk River, because as you can see, this town Novogusarovka, Shurivka, and this is Seversky Donetsk River, this one. So the Russians have some positions there as well. So I suppose that because of the fact that the Ukrainians announced about some offensive operation, and they told that it was some kind of recon combat. If you remember, a few weeks ago we discussed that the Russians did some recon combat near Nortsovka. So maybe the Russians are planning to do something in this back as well, because it's a very nice position. It's like the position, the Russians like backs and cauldrons and so on. So maybe we are going to see some development in this area. Furthermore, we know that the Russians are trying to prepare another 16 battalions. And sooner or later, these 16 battalions are going to be prepared. I suppose somewhere at the end of August or in the beginning of September, they will move these battalions to this area. And the question is where they're planning to move them. Because also the Russians are saying that somewhere at the end of August, they're planning to clear entire Donetsk district. It's like in 2 months. So after that, they will have to choose another direction or another movement. Some military Russian experts are saying that the Russians are planning to move those 16 new battalions to the Kharkiv, and they were trying to encircle Kharkiv using the White Hook before the winter, of course. So the Russians are saying that maybe the Russians will do something like this, trying to create a very large hook, and from this side, and using this back, this Operation Recon Combat, this back. So they will try to do something like this before winter. So they are going to start somewhere in the beginning of September of this autumn, and they will try to complete this operation somewhere by the winter. And after that, we understand that maybe there's a very high chance that Kharkiv is going to collapse during the winter because of lots of problems that Ukrainians have in their economy. And that's it for today. Military Summer Channel reminds you that we condemn any violence in Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.